fighting out of the blue corner. Wearing white and officially weighing in at 125.6 pounds. His professional record, 26 victories, including 12 big wins by knockout, only one defeat with one draw. Damas y caballeros de la zona norte, Tijuana, Baja, California, Mexico, Edivaldo Ortega. And his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the red corner, wearing yellow with red, officially weighing in at 125.4 pounds. His professional record, a perfect one. 21 fights, 21 victories, including 16 big wins by knockout from Cebu City, Philippines. Undefeated, Jhack Tepora.
You know already the rules. Remember, gloves over the navel. When I say break, one step back, okay? With no landing punches.
Acabo de dar las instrucciones. Acuérdense que cuando digo break es un paso para atrás sin tirar y que los golpes son varios del ombligo para arriba. Okay? Please.
Big moment for both of these fighters. Looking for a world title. Jhack El Capitan Tepora.
Go to the corner.
21-0. Indio Ortega. 26-1-1 with 12 knockouts.
Stay there, stay there.
Biggest fight of both of their lives. Scheduled for 12 rounds here in Malaysia. Tepora in the red, Ortega in the white. Chris, who do you favor in this contest?
I really like Tepora. I think he's a budding young star. He's got good skills. He's explosive. He likes to bring it. He's got good power. But Ortega is not going to let it come easy. He's a solid guy, good southpaw.
And you talk about intensity. Sitting in that fighter interview meeting, I thought he was going to jump the table and start scrapping with you just because.
Yeah, he was ready to fight, that's for sure.
As for Jhack Tepora, he couldn't quit smiling. Looked like he was about to go and watch a movie.
He's all business right now, though.
Needs to be focused because Ortega has plenty of power. Whoa, there's a right hand that lands for the Mexican.
Yeah, but just before that, I think Tepora landed a good body shot.
This crowd's getting loud.
Where's the back? Box.
Of this capacity crowd, I would say probably 95% are here just to see Manny Pacquiao. And Tepora is going to get a lot of love off that crowd. A Filipino fighter on a big Filipino fight card. Oh, and a right there from Ortega.
Tepora's fighting with a lot of confidence right now, controlling the center of the ring, keeping Ortega on the outside.
It might be a little overconfident. He's been hit with a couple of big shots.
I agree, just like that one right there, a little right hook.
Right hand there for Tepora. Chris, is when you see two southpaws squaring off, is it basically the same style as when you see two orthodox fighters fighting themselves?
It is, but at the same time, neither one of them are used to fighting southpaw. So a lot of times you'll see guys be a little more tentative if they're fighting the same stance when you're both southpaw. You're just used to punches coming from different angles.
Break! Box!
Both fighters landing some heavy punches here in round one. This is the kind of fight we expected, Chris, and that's what we're getting.
They both said that this was going to be an all-action affair. They weren't lying.
Notice.
I want you to use your jab more. You got to use it. Stay focused. Keep your heart strong. Don't move back. You got to have a brave heart. This.
Timing lang. Pag jab, use the jab.
Use the jab. You got to use the jab as much as you can.
No hay nada, todo tranquilo. Muévalo, 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 muévalo.
Stay aggressive. Stay aggressive. Give me a good round.
By the way, an update on Lu Bin, who was knocked out in our last fight. He was taken to a local medical facility for precautionary reasons. Hopefully he'll be okay. Any further news, we'll certainly pass it along to you. I want to say thanks to Diane Castillejo, who's translating not only from Filipino to English, but also from Spanish to English tonight.
They're actually speaking Visayan. It's a little bit different from Filipino, so doing the best that I can.
You're doing great. How many languages do you speak?
3, English, Filipino, and Spanish, a little bit.
But from her translation, we learned that both corners said, keep going forward, don't back up.
I don't think you need to tell these guys to do that. They're going to come forward. It's in their nature. I think that's going to impose their will.
Ortega telling us yesterday that he doesn't care what Tepora does. I will fight my fight, and I'm going to use my intelligence to win. What does he mean by his intelligence?
You know, you see it. He's using actually lateral movement. He's fighting the outside. He's not doing the traditional meet you in the middle of the ring Mexican style. He's actually using boxing skills and lateral movement. So I'm impressed to see that. He said he was going to do it, and he's able to execute.
Tepora with a left hand as Ortega came bull rushing in. Big swing and a miss by both guys. Every punch thrown with knockout intentions.
This is going to be the battle of hooks, I believe. Both these guys really like their lead right hooks.
There was a left that connected for Tepora.
From the looks of it, to me, it looks like Tepora has a little more power than Ortega. Seems like his punches, when they land, have more of an effect thus far.
Both men have been knocked down once in their career. For Ortega, it happened 5 years ago against Guadalupe Tapia. For Tepora, it happened in 2012 against Michael Dopel in the first round. He got up from the canvas to win that fight. And here he is fighting for a world title at 25. Tepora, much like the story of many Filipino fighters, said he collected trash for sale when he was a child. Found boxing as the only way out. Not just Filipino fighters, American fighters as well. It seems like the tougher your childhood was, the more adversity you face, the better fighter you become.
Good exchange here. I like how Tepora was fighting off his back foot there, landing some good shots while moving backwards.
We heard from Manny Pacquiao a few moments ago. Let's look at Lucas Matisse, who's beginning to get taped up. The main event headed your way next year from Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. He looks pretty relaxed right now, unlike yesterday, Chris.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when we had him in the fighter meeting, he looked like a caged animal ready to go. Right now, he's looking nice and cool, calm, relaxed, ready to go out there and do his job.
And what did you get from speaking with the trainer, Joel Diaz? I saw you guys talking by the pool yesterday as you were sipping on martinis, Christopher. What did he have to say to you?
No, he was just talking about how great camp was, and then he started telling me about his vacation that he has coming up after this fight that he's very excited about.
Well, he's been in there with, well, not been in there with Manny Pacquiao, but he's trained fighters for Manny Pacquiao. Tim Bradley not once, but twice. How will that experience help Lucas tonight?
I think that's a big deal, and one that's being overlooked by a lot of other people. I mean, he knows what he has in front of him. Manny Pacquiao is a specific, special fighter. Diaz has dealt with that already.
As we enter the third round here, who do you give the edge to so far?
I've got Tepora winning the first 2 rounds. Like I said, his punches looked a little bit heavier, a little more effect. Although it's been very competitive. Good counter left uppercut by Tepora. Timed that one perfectly.
I was really impressed by how calm Manny Pacquiao is in the locker room. I mean, it seemed like, you know, he was just like going for a meal or something, you know. And like he was saying, having been out of the ring for a year has given him a new hunger.
That, of course, still to come, but right now a good scrap between Ortega and Tepora for the vacant WBA Interim World Championship Featherweight division. You know, a scary, scary story a few months ago surrounding Jhack Tepora fighting out of his home country for the first time in East London, South Africa. Tested positive for HIV and was worried about his life, his family's safety. The fight was obviously in jeopardy. It was going to be called off, and then they took a retest later that day. Said he didn't sleep all night. The next day, the test came back as negative. Apparently, it was a likely mix-up of samples at the laboratory. But what a very, very scary moment for him.
See your career flash before your eyes or something like that.
Absolutely.
I'm impressed with Tepora's ability to not only just go forward and bang, but he's actually showing some good countering. He's keeping a measured pace. He's looking to take half steps back, counter. Using the jab as well. Good stuff so far.
Haven't seen the action we saw in round 1. They got this crowd really buzzing as they've settled in a little bit more. Nice 1-2 to the body there for Tepora. Nice exchange, and Ortega got the better of that, it seemed, but now that gets Tepora to open up.
Tepora eats big shots just there.
You cannot rest for a second when you're in there against Ortega. And a nice 1-2 running forward for Ortega again. Good round for the Mexican who just missed with the right, hit him with the left. Good exchanges, and they are throwing some leather now.
Definitely some hard punches exchanged there. It seemed like that shot that clipped Tepora gave Ortega some good confidence.
You gotta keep up the power with both hands. You can't let him take over. Move your shoulders. Stay away when you have to.
We saw Ortega really stepping up that round, landed some great combinations, really got Tepora's attention. We're going to see here the right hand and then the left hook and another right hand. This seemed to spur Ortega on towards the end of that round. Another shot of that. I like Ortega's follow-up there. He landed the right, came back with the left, came back with another left hand to close the show there. Good combination.
Exciting end to round 3. Let's see what they have in store for us here in the 4th. Tepora from the Philippines in the red, Ortega from Mexico in the white. One of 4 world title bouts tonight. The next one, obviously the biggest, our main event, Batiste and Pacquiao. Oh, big overhand right thrown there for Tepora.
Both these guys have good right hooks, and they've been flashing them all night long.
Hard to see how this one goes the full 12 after some of those punches both men have landed. seen in past fights, Tepora has kind of neglected his defense a little bit, just focused on offense. He can't afford to do that tonight against Ortega, can he?
No, and I think he knows that. He's been, like I said, he's been fighting a little bit of a counter fight at times. He's been more aware of his defense and making sure he's not taking too many shots here. Good adjustment from a young fighter.
Ortega, born in Puebla, Mexico, currently resides in Tijuana, has 5 sisters, and his parents own a little Mexican food stand.
No.
Said he had a simple life growing up, but just loved boxing. Had 50 amateur fights, only 4 losses. Said tonight, by far, the biggest night of his life. His entire family, of course, watching back home. Can their friend, their son, their brother win a world title?
Good left hand over the top from Ortega there. Timed that one perfectly. Ortega said is doing what he said he was going to do, box smart and be aggressive at times. That's exactly what he's been doing.
He's got Tepora walking backwards.
Break! 10 seconds. Box. Break! Nobody not in punch. Box.
We're just minutes away from our main event. Backstage, the referee of that fight, Kenny Bayless, giving the fighters their instructions right now. Let's listen in.
If at the end of the round the bell rings and your opponent throws a late punch after the bell and you retaliate and you hit him, it could cost you 2 points, or the severity of that punch can be a disqualification. You know, I'll be there at all times. Just listen to my commands and we'll have a great time. Are there any questions? Good luck to you. Yes, sir. Microphone? Oh, yes.
Yeah, you got your boxing
You know, the most interesting thing there wasn't so much he's going to play guitar. You talk about calm, cool, and collected. He's tailgating before a country concert right now. Lucas Matisse's hands are wrapped. He's probably shadow boxing right now. Pacquiao doesn't even have any gauze in sight, Chris.
He's warming up with the guitar. He's getting those fingers ready.
My word.
Joel Diaz asking for an autograph.
There's only one. Manny Pacquiao. Here we are, round 5 scheduled for 12 between another Filipino fighter, Jhack Tepora, taking on Edivaldo Ortega. And how do you have this one scored through 4 rounds, Chris?
I've actually got it all even up. 2 rounds apiece. Tepora came out. I thought he won the first 2 rounds. I think Ortega won the last 2.
Pacquiao-Matisse fight is supposed to follow this fight.
No,
so what,
no.
Pacquiao has 30 minutes to not only get his hands taped, but his gloves on, get his sweat going, and get ready to walk out here.
I guess it depends how vigorously he plays that guitar.
Is he playing metal or is he playing country? Crowd really beginning to fill up this arena here. We're on the Kuala Lumpur Sports City Complex at the Axiata Arena. The biggest fight card, boxing-wise, in Asian history. 4 world title fights. This is the 3rd one. Featherweight division. Ortega's last fight was in January in his home city of Tijuana, Mexico. 10-round unanimous decision over Drayan Francisco, another Filipino fighter. Talk about culture shock, Chris. This is the first time Ortega has ever fought outside of Mexico.
Wow.
And Tijuana's right on the border there with Los Angeles. Not even a fight in America.
Good left hand, straight left hand to the body by Tepora.
No. No. Hey, stop. No, okay, hey, listen. Box.
Good left uppercut by Tepora. I like when he takes a little half step back, fires that left uppercut up the middle. He's landed that several times tonight. Ortega's taken them very well, though.
This fight is either super slow or all out guns blazing. No in between.
10 seconds.
Nice defense there by Tepora. Good head movement.
Let's see how Lucas Matisse is handling those referees' instructions. I would imagine he's not playing guitar.
No kidney punches. In the event of a knockdown, the fighter standing is to go to the furthest neutral corner.
En caso de una caída, el peleador que causa la caída se tiene que ir a la a la neutral más lejana.
And stay there.
Y mantenerse ahí.
While I'm counting on the down fighter,
mientras yo esté contando,
if I see you coming out,
si empiezas a acercarte,
I will stop counting and put you back.
Va a parar el conteo y te va a regresar.
And it gives your opponent more time.
Y obviamente le da al rival más tiempo de recuperarse.
If your mouthpiece comes out,
si sale el protector
you
vocal,
keep fighting.
Sigue peleando.
And as soon as the action slows down,
y ya que se baje un poco la acción,
I'll call timeout.
Voy a tomar tiempo.
And get the mouthpiece over to your chief.
Se la pasa a la
he will clean it off.
So Kenny Bayless speaking in English, translated into Spanish for Lucas Matisse out of Argentina. The Machine.
Let's go.
Round 6 scheduled for 12 here, Kuala Lumpur. What would your advice be right now to both these fighters if you were in their corner, Chris?
For Ortega, I would say to pick up the action a little bit more, be a little more active. And for Tepora, I would say just use that jab more. He's got a good jab. He's been flashing it. He's creating a little bit of distance, being able to counter like that. I would like for him to counter with more than one punch at a time, though.
Stick and move there. For Tepora.
Box.
Tepora's got a good jab when he uses it. Keeps it nice and long. Uses it to set up other punches.
Tepora does love throwing one punch at a time. Kind of settles into that, and then next thing you know, shakes things up, throws a combination or two.
Keeps looking for that rear-handed uppercut. I'd like to see him clean that up with a right hook.
Most fighters train, what, 8 to 10 weeks for a world title fight? Ortega said he spent 3 months in training camp for this fight.
Wow. You know what they say, if you sharpen a knife too much, it gets dull. Can't overtrain.
What's the latest on your status? A lot of people think you're retired, Chris.
Yeah, that is a misnomer. I'll be back in the ring before the end of the year. Training really hard, getting some great work.
Let it go, let it go, let it go. Break. Box.
power, though.
At the end of this round, you see more of what Ortega needs to do. Push him forward, letting his hands go.
Strong finish there to the round. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, we are live right now in the beautiful city of Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. We're at the Sports City Complex. They've got a giant soccer stadium. They've got a swimming park. And of course, they've got the Axiata Arena. That's where we are. The biggest fight card in Asia history, 4 world title fights. This is the 3rd one taking place right now. And coming up later tonight, in fact, scheduled to be next, the main event. Lucas Matisse defending his welterweight title against Manny Pacquiao. Right now, we're in the midst, halfway through, in fact, of the WBA Interim World Championship in the Featherweight division. Edivaldo Ortega and Jhack Tepora. Ringside alongside the former junior welterweight champion of the world. I almost forgot your name for a second, Chris Algieri. I'm Todd Grisham. And of course, Diane Castillejo, our roaming reporter out of the Philippines, speaking every language you could possibly want, has done a great job translating. We're in round 7, scheduled 12, the halfway point. Ortega's had his moments, Tepora's had his moments. Tough one to score so far.
Yeah, tough to score, competitive fight, but I've got Tepora up by a couple rounds.
And what can you tell us about Jhack Tepora, Diana? Don't know a lot about him, El Capitan.
Actually, honestly, not a very known fighter in the Philippines yet. Training in Cebu, which is like a province outside Manila. This is only his 2nd international fight. Has big dreams, like every boxer, hoping to fulfill what Manny Pacquiao has achieved. May not come close, but another striving, talented boxer that has a lot of good people around him, and he seems to be a hard worker so far and eager to learn.
No. Break!
Says it's a dream come true to fight on the card of Manny Pacquiao. Manny handpicked him to be in the co-main event. And as Chris mentioned earlier, we think he was joking, saying that, hey, Tepora is better than I am, or better than I was. Hard to see that.
Very humble man. He always downplays his skills.
Manny did not downplay the importance of hard work.
Yes.
He said that Tepora is a very hard worker, and that's what he likes about him.
What would you like to see him doing right now, though? Kind of floating through these rounds at times.
Yeah, he's winning the rounds. He's not being super convincing, but honestly, I just like him when he throws his combinations to throw more than one punch at a time. I think that's kind of what's keeping this fight as competitive as it is.
Super nice guy is Jhack Tepora. Talk about complete contrasting attitudes. Ortega did not smile in the 45 minutes we spent with him the other day. Tepora didn't stop smiling.
So much so that I'm having trouble recognizing him.
Exactly.
Without seeing his flashing white teeth.
He'll be smiling if he gets this win, becomes a world title holder.
Nice jab there, good timing. Good body shot too. See, but just one and done.
Okay, break! Box!
Ooh, big clash, and they've always been that way. Almost at the end of every round, there's always a big 4 or 5 second brawl, and that's it. Would love to get some of that in the beginning of the round instead of right at the end.
Need to get some ice up here. Don't worry, champ, we got you.
So we're going to see a replay here of some of the action. We got Ortega pushing forward early, backing up. Tepora kept along the ropes, letting his hands go. And then we're going to see some action Here's another look at that. Pushing him against the ropes, letting those hands go. And then the end of the round, like as Todd alluded to, these guys seem to always open it up. Both hands flying, big shots, just as the bell rings to end the round.
Round 8 scheduled for 12. Ortega from Tijuana, Mexico in the white trunks. Jhack El Capitan Tepora in the red. Both men felt this would not go the distance. However, neither man has really been in that much trouble. Some heavy punches have landed, but no one's looked in danger of going down. This crowd here, this pro-Filipino crowd, waiting for something to get excited about.
Now you got Tepora, who's normally a really aggressive guy, but he made an adjustment this fight. He's using his skills, using his jab, counter fighting to success, but maybe not the most exciting way to win these rounds.
Well, if you want to become a world superstar or even a national hero like Manny Pacquiao is, it's not just your record. It's just not if you win, it's how you win. Even when Pacquiao lost, for the most part, he would go down swinging and had just a fantastic fight. So if Tepora wants that kind of level of notoriety and fame, seems like he's going to have to go more for broke more often.
There's no doubt about that. Stars are exciting. People want to see them. But this might be one of those situations where get the win, look good next time. Be his first world title.
Let it go. Come on.
But this is his biggest fight on the big stage.
Definitely the opportunity of a lifetime. El Capitan.
Nice counter right there, more of a slapping shot from Tepora. Really haven't had the crowd really get involved. They've reacted to some punches, but they haven't really gotten behind Tepora so far.
Seems like they may be saving it for old Manny Pacquiao coming in.
And let us not forget, it is 10:45 in the morning.
That is a good point, Todd.
And no alcohol sales here in this arena.
Break! Say break. Box. 10 seconds.
You've never had a drink before noon, have you, Chris?
Well, it's always noon somewhere.
No, let it go, let it go. Time!
Let's see if Manny Pacquiao's made progress on getting ready for the fight. And there he is, taping himself, Chris. How rare is that?
Very. You don't see that very often, but Manny's been doing it for years now. I can't remember a time watching him actually get his hands wrapped by anybody else. So, but the thing about getting hands wrapped, everyone has different hands, different injuries to worry about. So no one knows your hands better than yourself. So I understand why he does it.
Manny Pacquiao looking for an 11th world title later tonight. To do it, he's got to beat Lucas Matisse. According to the Vegas odd makers, Pacquiao slightly over a 2-to-1 favorite against the machine.
9.
Chris, you were pretty confident Manny Pacquiao was going to beat Matisse, but then after we had the fighter meeting with Lucas, you seem to maybe give the machine a little bit more of a chance. Why is that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he looked extremely serious, ready to go. He was very, very confident. You can tell just by a fighter's aura sometimes how realistically their chance of winning is. Yeah, for sure. After seeing how serious their team was, I definitely give him a better shot.
There's some action at the beginning of round 9 here. Matisse, by the way, 35 years old. Pac-Man, 39. while they both may be past their prime, that still doesn't mean they can't put on a great performance.
Pacquiao will be turning 40 this December, but in training camp he said he felt like 25, 26 max.
I'm 42. I don't remember what I felt like at 26. I felt poor. I know that.
No.
I know I was poor at 26. Whether I felt it or not.
Who's winning these rounds? There's really not a ton of action except for a little 4 or 5 second spurt maybe at the end of the round.
I'm going with Tepora on these rounds. He's a little more consistent with his jab. Seems like the fight is being fought where he wants it. Also, his punches just seem to be much heavier and more explosive when he does let them go.
Little tape has come off the glove of Tepora. They'll fix that right up.
Hurry up. All right, it's okay.
And Tepora's from Cebu City. Is that how you pronounce it?
Cebu. It's actually Cebu, yeah. It's about an hour flight from Manila. Beautiful beaches, the best mangoes in the world. Definitely a place to visit.
I love a good mango.
Suéltalo. Okay, break.
I've been to Tijuana. They have tequila there. And I love a good tequila.
I've heard about that stuff.
There's a nice exchange, and it looked like Tepora got the better of it as Ortega comes springboarding back off the ropes. Ooh, nasty uppercut just missed. Oh! Down, and there's the crowd coming to life. 30 seconds to go. Let's see what Tepora wants to do here. Ortega holding on.
Ortega seems hurt. Oh, good hard shot.
And now here comes Tepora going forward. He's got a 76% knockout percentage. Knows how to close the show. Ortega eating a lot of punches here. And it's stopped. That is a shocking stoppage. But Jhack Tepora has won the interim WBA Featherweight Championship of the world. And I know Ortega was hurt, Chris, but was he that hurt that he needed to be stopped?
I think a world title fight, you give him a little more time, but hey, you don't know. Maybe the ref saw something that we couldn't. But in either way, it was a great ending for Tepora. He finally let his hands go. That's what he needed to do all night.
And we talked earlier about how you win. No one's going to remember those pedestrian rounds. They'll remember how he knocked him down and then closed the show seconds later.
That is exactly right. Great way to finish for your first world title.
El Capitan Jhack Tepora gets a big victory for the Philippines. We'll see if Manny Pacquiao can stack one right on top of that. Coming up next in our main event, Tepora with his 17th knockout as he improves to 22-0. Let's take a look at that stoppage and how Tepora got the knockdowns. Chris, take it away.
So Tepora had been landing the left uppercut all night long. That one was the right uppercut off the lead. Switched it up. Ortega just didn't see it, clipped him right on the chin. He was actually blinded by his own glove being up and landed right on the chin. Let's take another look at that knockdown. You see that lead right uppercut. Ortega didn't see that shot come in at all. Tepora followed up with doing exactly what I told him he needed to do earlier, throw combinations for your counters. He really let his hands go when he had his man hurt. Great instincts are finishing here. Cutting angles, making sure it keeps working, closing the gap quickly. And here's the end of the fight right here.
You know, Ortega was throwing punches back. They didn't have a lot behind him, but If you can't intelligently defend yourself, it should be stopped. Did you see that there?
You know, I did. I saw him getting hit, getting hurt. You know, it was probably going to happen a few moments later anyway, but I always like to give a fighter the benefit of the doubt.
Either way, it's all said and done. Jhack El Capitan Tepora is a world champion at the age of 25 years old, and maybe he's going to start getting some of that fame and recognition back in his home country that he seeks. As for Edivaldo Ortega, he suffers his second ever professional loss and gets knocked out for the first time in his career. A brave performance by Ortega, but in the end, Tepora, too good, too strong here tonight in Malaysia. Let's get it now to Michael Buffer for the official decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Roberto Ramirez Jr. has to step in and call a halt to the bout. The official time, 2 minutes, 38 seconds, round number 9. The winner, still undefeated, and now the new WBA Interim Featherweight World Champion, the featherweight fighting pride of the Philippines, Jhack El Capitan Tepora.
Chris, what's your scouting report now on Tepora? How can he improve? How can he get better?
You know, I mean, for a first world title, it's a great way to finish. You know, he got the knockout, he got the title. We got to see what's going to happen now. A lot of times you see a fighter, when he wins his first world title, he improves tremendously in his next fight.